I found out about my son's wedding from my hospital bed. My husband was there. A stranger texted, "Don't say a word, I'll handle it." I was lying in a hospital bed 5 days after a hysterectomy when my son posted his wedding photos. I didn't even know the wedding was that day. The caption read, "What a joyful day. Thank you to my real mother and father for everything." My husband Byron was in every photo. Charcoal gray suit, big smile, standing next to a woman I had never seen. He had liked the post. A small thumbs up, casual, like it cost him nothing. I stared at that screen so long my eyes burned. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. 7 words. "Don't say a word, I'll handle it." Byron never came back to the hospital. Not day 2, not day 3, not day 4. I told myself he was busy. I told myself a lot of things in that room while the IV dripped and the nurses changed shifts. I was 4 days into a 5-day stay. My blood levels had dropped. They were monitoring me. And my husband was at our son's wedding with another woman. I cried once, quietly, face turned toward the wall so the night nurse wouldn't see. Then I stopped crying and started thinking. The next morning, a manila envelope arrived at the nurse's station. Someone had called ahead, used Byron's name to confirm my room number, and left it at the front desk without showing their face. Inside, financial transfer records, business proposal documents, a printed email chain. And at the bottom, one page I recognized immediately. Our marriage certificate, pulled from Mecklenburg County Public Records. There was a handwritten note tucked in the back. He told me he was divorced. I believed him. "I'm sorry. You deserved better than both of us leaving you alone in here." I read every page twice. Byron had been soliciting investment from this woman for months. A freight brokerage. Big concept, credible pitch, just enough detail to sound real. She had transferred $31,000 across 2 installments. Then I found the line that made my stomach drop. 8 months before her first payment, $8,400 had moved from our joint account into Byron's business account. He used my money to look credible enough to take hers. I set the folder down. My hands were completely steady. I picked up my phone and called a family law attorney named Renata Pasco. Byron came home 2 days after I did. Groceries he hadn't been asked to buy. Careful concern. The full performance. He moved through our kitchen like a man with nothing on his conscience. I smiled where smiling was appropriate. I thanked him where thanking was appropriate. I gave him nothing to read. Meanwhile, I photographed everything. A charger behind the entryway table. Not his model, not mine. A restaurant receipt in the kitchen drawer dated a Tuesday night. Byron had told me he was at a conference in Raleigh. I had texted him to drive safe. In his office, a business card from a commercial real estate firm. Warehouse space. Monthly lease figures. Loading doc specs. He wasn't theorizing a business. He was building one. With my money. With her money. With both of us at the same time. I photographed everything and closed every drawer exactly as I had found it. Then I called Renata back and told her to file. 2 weeks later, the woman from the folder texted me 3 words. Dwight confirmed Thursday. I didn't go to the dinner. I sat home with Cheryl on the phone and watched the clock. At 9:14, Davian's new wife Loria called me from a parking lot, voice slightly shaking, still standing outside in the night air. She told me everything. Salvi had arrived midway through dinner and stood up without raising her voice. She named the lie about the divorce. She described the investment. She said the dollar amount out loud. Then she said my name. She told every person at that table that while Byron sat celebrating at his son's wedding, his wife was alone in a hospital bed recovering from surgery he had visited once and abandoned. She passed printed documents around the table. Byron called it a misunderstanding, tried to make her look unhinged. Then someone read one of his own texts aloud, the one where he told Salvi he had been divorced for 2 years. The room went completely still. Chairs stopped moving. Nobody touched their food. Dwight Calloway, the man whose table Byron had sat at for years, set his papers down. He looked at Byron for a long moment. Then he opened the front door, and Byron walked out. Loria said Davian drove home without saying a single word. I stayed on the line with Cheryl until midnight, waiting for the sound of Byron's key in the lock. It came at 12:43. He went straight to his office and closed the door. He didn't come to the bedroom. He thought there was still something left to manage. He had no idea Renata had already filed that morning. Full story on the channel linked below.